In this video I'm going to be going through all of my seating options, talking about all of the camping and backpacking chairs that I've got, you know, which ones I like, which ones I don't like. At the end I'm going to put them in order of worst to best and explain my reasoning why. I'll start off by saying that loads of people don't even bother taking a chair, and I haven't taken a chair on lots of my camping trips. You just have to sometimes make use of what you can find, like a bench, or sit on the ground. But even when you find a bench, it's not always clean. So the bare minimum that I take is one of these, some kind of sit pad. That means I've always got something dry or clean to sit on. This is just a cheap sit pad from Amazon. You can pay about 20 quid for a Thermarest one of these, and it's all it is a bit of closed cell foam with a bit of reflective foil on it. You know, if you're spending big bucks on a Thermarest one, you are wasting your money. This does exactly the same thing. It's great for kneeling down, doing a few little camp tasks and things like that. These are also really good for giving you a little bit of insulation when you want to sit down on a rock or a chair when it's cold in the winter time. Although they do have their flaws. I've got no cushioning at all, and I've got no support. I can't just lean back and relax, which is the whole point of a chair really. The next thing I want to show you, I thought was going to be a little bit of an upgrade on this thin closed cell foam pad. So this is another sit mat, but this is from Flextail. It's a mini air pad really, insulated as well. Yeah, I thought that this was going to give me that little bit more comfort. But it's alright. It's not a lot more comfortable. It's definitely going to be more fragile than the closed cell foam pad. It's about 2 inches thick, but it's not very good as a knee pad. You can still kneel on it, but it's not very stable, and you feel like you're on a waterbed rolling about all over the place. I've used it directly on the ground. Obviously I check underneath just to make sure there's no sharp objects, but it's one of those things, for me it's not as good as that, not as versatile, and the comfort, the extra comfort is just negligible. You still got the problem of not being able to, you know, sit back in your armchair. To be honest with you, I never use this anymore as a seat. I do take it because it weighs just a few grams and it rolls up really small, but part of my sleep kit gives me an additional pillow or just something to stick between my knees because I'm a side sleeper. That just makes me a little bit more comfortable. That sit pad's out of the way. Let's start looking at something a little bit more comfortable in the form of chairs. I said chairs, I meant stools next. So this is more of a halfway house. So this, just look how quick that sets up. That is the first bonus of this chair, or stool shall I say. It's called the Robins Geographic Stool. Weighs around 250 grams I think it is. It cost me around 20 quid. Incidentally, everything that you see today I have bought and paid for with my own money. So the selling point of this is it's really small and you can just pop it up straight away. It's a handy little bit of kit actually. However, for me, it can be hard work getting on and off it. But I'm off the ground, and it's a more comfortable sitting position than when you sat on the floor with a sit pad of some description. But it's not the most comfortable. You do have to get it in the right place. It's a little bit like sitting on a bike saddle. I've used this loads of times. I say it doesn't take up anything in your pack. Did have a little bag, but I've misplaced that. But setup time, it's great. Fits inside the side pocket of your backpack. Pull it out, and you're on, sort of. It's pretty comfortable to sit on. It's a reasonable height, and it's a comfortable sitting position for shorter periods of time. I wouldn't want to be sat on this for ages. I could probably just chuck my sit mat on top of it just to give it a little bit more insulation and softness. But the height of this means that I can't use it in my smaller one-person type of tents that I tend to use. And I do have to put my hand on the ground. I do that with all of my seats, to be honest with you. I can't just step up. You know, someone who's very nimble could probably just, you know, pop up there, but not me. Stick that to one side and find something even better. So I've got another stool. I need to correct myself though. This one was actually sent to me a year or two back. This is the Big Agnes Skyline Ultralight stool. This costs around 85 quid and weighs about 550 grams. What do you reckon of the golf balls? They're my addition. I will explain those in a moment. Putting it up, it's pretty easy. So they've got these all on bungees. They're just very intuitive. Through the hole. These additional bits I will explain. So the bungees don't come on it, these black ones, and neither do the golf balls. Right, so I put these on so the golf balls didn't fall off. So the bungee just holds them in place. This here, that was so I could peg the stool down so it didn't blow away off the side of the hill. So I'll take that off. It's bushcraft for you. So that's the frame for the stool. The material bit's colour coded, so you've got grey and grey. And there's like little pockets on there, and these pockets fit over the poles. And you've got your stool. This stool is a little bit higher and it's certainly a lot more comfortable. You know, it gets my whole backside in there. I can sit in this for really long periods of time. Before I hurt my knee, I could get out of this one. It is a little bit... There we go. So the golf balls, these are just training balls that I got from Sports Direct. These little feet, you know, when you're on soft ground and you sat on the chair, it starts to sink in. And I found that if I put these little golf balls on, you can buy specific feet for them, but they can be quite expensive. There's various different types of this chair. I've got a few more to show you in a minute. But yeah, it packs down really small, as you've seen. The chair itself is really comfortable. You would think that you sat on it that way, but you don't. You sit in the wide end like that. I've used this a lot more than the other two things back there because it is so comfortable. You can twist around in it. It's got a little bit of flex. It's really sturdy as well. You know, I'm not a Slim Jim or anything like that, and it holds my weight. I can't remember what the actual limit is. Something like 120 kilograms. Sorry. For sitting around camp, it's great, but if the weather's rubbish and you need to sit inside your tent, it's just too high. So it's no good for, unless you're in a family-sized tent or one that's, you know, 1.5 meters high, which is not most of your backpacking tents. All of this stuff that I'm showing you today is what I would call backpacking chairs. So, yeah, as long as you're outdoors, you know, this is great. Same with that stool there. If you're outdoors, it's great. These are the sort of things you need when you're indoors. If it's winter or chucking it down all day, then you want to be comfortable. So sit pads are, for me, are not really the solution. So while I'm setting up the next chair, just want to give a quick shout out to Squarespace, who's kindly sponsored the video today. So Squarespace is an all-in-one platform for DIY websites, web hosting, and getting your domain name like messner.co.uk. You don't need any experience in web design or coding. All we did was chose one of their ready-made templates. We uploaded our own photos, added some text, and then just dragged things around a little bit, and then within a couple of hours we had a website. So I use my website for a load of different things, from promoting my YouTube channel. I've written a blog, sharing my online raffles, as well as sending out newsletters to subscribers. Whereas Jo, she uses the e-commerce feature on her website for selling her artwork and paintings. There's loads of other different features. You can use AI to help build your website. You can set up a subscription service. You can even check the analytics to see where all of your traffic's coming from. So if you want to have a go at building a website of your own, if you click the link in the description below or head over to squarespace.com/Paul Messner, you'll get a totally free trial where you can build a website, test it out before you go live, and when you are ready to go live, you'll get 10% off your first purchase. Moving on to the chairs now. This is called the Trekology Yeezy Go, I think it is. This cost me about 40 quid. I've had it a few years. It sets up pretty much the same as the Big Agnes. You know, you've got the poles that are bungeed together, and then these little cups that fit on top. Pretty straightforward. There we go. So on this hard ground, that's not going to sink, like I said, but if it's soft, you will find that you start to sink in the mud. You can't use this on a beach without some sort of mat on it. But this looks like a proper chair, doesn't it? Well, it's a bit wobbly, but it's all right. It's not bad at all. I do feel like I've got to use my legs to support it a little bit. If I just, yeah, it starts to want to bend forwards. So you do need your legs to support it. But you can lean back in this, and it is comfortable. But this pack size is quite large, as you can see, and it weighs 1 kilo. And I can't use it in my tent. So it's the same reasoning. When the weather's like this and it's lovely, just get down, sit outside, and spread out. But if it's chucking it down, it's a waste of time bringing it, unless you're doing a bit of woodland camping maybe, and you're under a tarp, or you're family camping, or you're down on the beach and with some sort of beach shelter or tarp. It's not really a backpacking chair, I don't think. It's just it's because it's no good if the weather's rubbish. That is ultimately, that is the main reason why I tend not to take any of these stools or this chair anymore, because most of the time when I'm camping the weather's naff, so I can't sit inside my tent and use it. This one's pretty easy to get in and out of as well. A couple of these little pockets at the side for putting your keys in, things like that. Yeah, it's not a bad chair, not bad at all, but 1 kilogram, and yeah, it's too high for smaller tents. So the next one, it's all about making use of different kit for when you're camping. So this is the Thermarest Trekker chair kit, and for this you do need your Thermarest sleeping pad. So if I'm camping, I've got this anyway. So let me just put some air in this and I'll show you how it sets up. So first up, you can just use your sleeping pad as it is, just to sit on inside your tent, and it is pretty comfortable. You can't lounge back on it, of course. If you want to be a little bit higher, you can let a little bit of the air out your pad. You can even you can even fold it over, but you need to do this when it's got less pressure in it. Otherwise you can damage the pad. You've got a double thickness pad. Then we sat up a little bit higher, so just saved myself 85 quid on a stool, haven't I? But we want to have a go with this Trekker chair. So it is quite small. Can't remember what it weighs. If I can see it, I'll put it on the screen. I think this was about 50 quid as well. Right, which is the top? Thermarest at the top. So you thread your sleeping pad through the chair. It's like getting dressed, isn't it? There we go, something like that anyway. Level it up a bit, then you get this bit of your chair, fold it in there like that. This bends up, and then some little clips. There you've got your chair, look. There we go, you can adjust it a bit as well with these. So I can sit inside my tent now, and I've got some support as well. So this is comfortable, and obviously I've got all the insulation from my sleeping pad as well, so I'm not going to be cold from the ground. I'm not too high, so I can use this inside my smaller one-man tents as well. Not the tiny little tents, but something like my Hilleberg Innan or Unna can definitely use this, no problem at all. It is comfy, but you do feel like you're slipping about a little bit. But it's a bit of a faff to set up, and you've got the additional weight of the chair element of it. But if you want to, once you've got it on here, you can leave it on for the duration of your trip. So I can unclip this if I wanted to, pull that out, and then just sleep on that, and then in the morning when I want to use my chair again, put it back together. I've actually used this with a different pad to Thermarest as well. It doesn't work great, but you can do it. It is made for the Thermarest, but different pad manufacturers do this as well, so it's worth checking out for your pad if it's something you're interested in. So the couple of problems that I have with this is, firstly, Thermarest is not my favourite sleeping pad. I don't have really comfortable night sleeps on pads where the baffles go across like that. So I tend not to take the Thermarest very often unless it's really cold and I want something that is perfect for winter conditions. This is the best pad I've got for winter conditions. Never been cold in it. It's a nice wide pad as well, but when it comes to chair, it's a bit of a faff to set it up. And I feel bending your pad over like this is ultimately, it's not doing it any good, is it? I know that it's designed to do that, but you look at these pressure points down here. If the baffles are going to delaminate or it's going to burst, something's going to go around here where all this pressure is. Because it's an inflatable, it does feel sometimes like you're going to roll off it as well, but decent bit of kit. And if you're the sort of person that likes to use your kit in multiple ways, then your sleeping pad's doubling up as a chair as well, albeit with a bit more bulk and more equipment. A couple more bits. Next up, we've got the Helinox ground chair. This is a really good bit of kit, but it's mega expensive. Cost me about 100 quid, I think. Again, these are all, you've noticed a bit of a theme. Metal aluminium poles that fit into these plastic hubs, and they're held together with bungees. I'm not sure who made the first one. Maybe it was Helinox, but all of these other companies now are doing the same thing. It's all about these metal poles that fit into a little pocket. Well, this one's 100 quid. The Trekology one is 40 or 50 quid. I've just been on the website to check the weight of this. 637 grams, so it's 400 grams lighter than the Trekology chair, but it's £119.99. Wow, more than double the price. It does feel sturdier though. It is sturdier, and it's more comfortable. It's a good seating position for me, and it's low down as well, so I can fit in this in most of my tents, apart from some of the really low down ones. But I'm worried about the base of this ripping through the ground sheet in my tents. It does put a lot of pressure on 4 little points, so this is where one of these comes in handy. If I put my ground chair on top of that, it does protect my ground sheet and my tent a bit, although this one is a little bit small, but you get the point. They're not sharp, but if there's a rock underneath, you could damage your ground sheet. Now I do like this chair, but I still don't tend to take it. So what does that tell you? If you've got your sleeping pad and everything set up in your tent already, then you can't sit on this because your sleeping pad's in the way, unless you stand it up and shove it right to the back of your tent. Yeah, it's still a bit bulky, it's still a bit heavy. But the next one I'm going to show you is a little bit bulky as well and a little bit heavy. But I've been using that all the time lately. Let's have a look at the last chair. As you can see, this one's a little bit bulky as well. It does just strap to the outside of my pack though. This is the Crazy Creek Hex 2.0. This is by far the simplest of all the chairs to use. There we go, we're set up. So it just folds up, rolls up, and then there's a little tie there just to hold it all together. But this I love for a number of reasons. The simplicity is the first one. You can adjust it, and so I can lean back if I want to, like that. You know, you can sort of, it's a bit like a rocking chair, it holds you in. So it is padded as well. It's got carbon fibre stays in there, strong webbing, but this only weighs about 50-60 grams less than this. This is 567 grams, I think it said. I will put it on the screen again. But I just love how simple it is. Simplicity is the way I'm going these days. And I just love that you can just sort of adjust, add a little bit of tension, a little, you know, it's a bit more laid back. Just get it just how you want it. And I can sit anywhere with this, on the ground, in my tent, on top of my air mattress, and I've just got the support that I need. I don't want to be sat ages in a tent just on my sleeping pad with no support, or having to lie down just because I've got nowhere to sit. You know, I can have my stove at the side of me, I can have my stove in front of me if I want to. So because it's so easy to set up, pack away, it's the chair that I always use. I've not had it that long. What did I say it was? I think I paid about 60 quid for it. More fingers, look. All thumbs, should I say. There we go. Let's add it to the usual suspects lineup and then choose a favourite. I'll choose them in order, shall we? From worst to best. Let's put it in some kind of order. So this is the order that I've put them in anyway. I'd be interested to know whether you think things are in the right place or in the wrong place. So in last place I've gone for the Trekology Yeezy Go. It's a pretty comfortable chair. It is a little bit wobbly, but I just don't use it. It's over a kilogram. It's quite bulky, and I've got better alternatives. It did a job for what it did. 40 quid. When you're comparing the prices of the Helinox chairs, it's a bargain for a very similar product, albeit heavier. In second to last place, I've got the Thermarest Trekker chair. I think it's a little bit gimmicky. It is a faff to get it to set up right. I don't tend to use Thermarest pads very often, and I'm worried about it breaking. Not the chair, the pad, and if your pad's gone, then you're in trouble. I'd rather be without a chair than a sleeping pad. So, you know, 40-50 quid or whatever it is, I think I'd rather spend 40-50 quid on one of these items. Then we've got the Robins Geographical. Nice little stool. It comes in handy. It'll go in day packs every now and again, things like that. Just because of its size, it's not too expensive either. Yeah, I feel like it's really well made. It's just not comfortable. Flex tail. As a seat, yeah, I think it's a bit more comfortable than sitting on the ground. It's definitely more comfortable than sitting on that, but I'll explain that one in a minute. But I don't I don't tend to use it because I just feel like I'm rolling off it. But it's ahead of these because I use it more than those, because it goes, you know, as a part of my sleeping kit now. You're just going to have to go with my logic here. Then we've got the Helinox Chair Zero. It's comfy. It's a little bit of a faff to set up. It's 120 quid now, which is bonkers, and it doesn't offer much more than the Crazy Creek for me, other than you're a little bit higher off the ground if you want that. But I don't want to be as high off the ground. I want to be able to fit inside my tent. I want to be comfortable. I don't want the faff of having to set stuff up. So the third prize goes to the Big Agnes UL. Let me show you. The pack size of this is incredibly small, and you get a really comfy stool for that pack size. Easy to get in and out of. The only problem I've got with it is it's too high to be used in the tents that I've got, but you know, just for a general stool, that sort of pack weight and a few 100 grams, I take this out with me quite a bit. Runner up is the closed cell foam sit pad. Such a versatile bit of kit. You know, I've done loads of stuff. I use it as a knee pad, I use it as a sit pad, I use it as insulation to wrap my food up in sometimes. You know, it levels the ground off so you can use it as a makeshift table. It's so versatile. It adds a little bit of insulation to other equipment. Moving on to the winner, the Crazy Creek chair. I've seen similar chairs to this, you know, on different videos before and in shops. And I saw a video a while back. You have to forgive me for getting your name, but the channel's called Rambling On. And watch his channel, you know why he calls it Rambling On. But he makes some really cool stuff, and he's done one on this chair. I've seen in his videos before. I thought I need to try that just for the simplicity of it. And he was absolutely bang on with his thoughts on it. Yes, I've got to get on the ground. Just dial it in, just how you want it. There we go. Sometimes you need to move around a little bit. I've got a little bit of cushioning from that other pad as well. You know, it's a comfortable seating position. You can get a longer one, so some people notice these stays kind of dig in their back a little bit, but I don't have a problem with that. But I can just sit in my tent for ages in this. I can use it on the ground outdoors. Strap it to the outside of my pack. If it's raining, I'll put it in some sort of dry bag, but yeah, I can get it set up in seconds. I can pack it away in seconds as well. None of this faff with, you know, trying to take things off and all that kind of malarkey. Yeah, so it's a little bit bulky. It's a little bit pricey, around 60 quid. You can get cheaper versions of it. So the reason that this one's a little bit more expensive, I've seen them for about 20 quid, similar sort of ones, but they've just got flat backs on them. So they, once folded up, they're pretty much like that. That is the format. So somehow it needs to go down the inside of your backpack. Where this one is a winner is the fact that it rolls up like that. So yeah, so it just gives you a more compact thing that you can put in your pack, strap to the bottom of your pack, top of your pack, side pocket. I felt guilty, I just had to have a look. Jason from Rambling On, I will put a link to your video in the description, mate. Thank you for the recommendation. For those of you that don't find camping chair videos boring, I hope you found some of this useful. When it comes to choosing any sort of camping equipment, whether that be a tent or chair, it is subjective, and it's down to, you know, personal taste, you know, what you want from a piece of equipment. You know, you can't just go from other people's advice. You know, I said that it was over there a second ago. I saw Jason's video, and you know, it made me want to try the bit of gear. I didn't know at the time whether it was what I wanted, but having tried it and used it, it is. But I watched similar videos on all of these other products, and I thought that was what I wanted as well. So, eventually, I think you get to where you want to be. You can try and do as much research as you can, but you're not guaranteed to get exactly what you want the first time. If you can borrow, if you can try, go in a shop, all that kind of stuff, do those kind of things. But have a little bit of a checklist. Think of the things that you want. Before you start buying a big tall chair, do you want to be able to use it in your smaller tent? If so, scratch that off the equation straight away. If you need to have some kind of back support, scratch this off the equation straight away, or a stool. So, there are little things that you can do. Anyway, that is it for this one. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.